Mr. Chair, you ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Go ahead.
Thank you. Members of the board, good morning. Good morning, Charm City. The September 5th proceedings of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City will now begin. Please take this opportunity to turn off or mute all of your electronic devices. Don't be that person whose phone goes off in the middle of the hearing, please. The board is now in session. We do have a few preliminary matters before we begin. Chairman Matriciani is excused from today's hearings, so in his absence, Commissioner Templeton will serve as acting chair. Following items on the docket are postponed. Case number 2, Terrence Dixon, New Terra Cafe LLC, trading as New Terra Cafe, 101 East 25th Street, violation of Rule 4.14, violation of Rule 3.062, and violation of Rule 3.02. Case number 3, Jamie L. Balvinu Bravo and Alejo J. Martinez, El Oasis Restaurant E Discotheque Inc., trading as El Oasis Restaurant E Discotheque, 391921 Eastern Avenue, violation of Rule 3.12. Case number 5, Sia Carter, Miss Carter's Place LLC, trading as Carter's Place, 101 West Lexington Street, violation of Rule 3.12. Mr. Chairman, the first item on the docket is the adoption of the agency's draft regulation, number 2.16, entitled Monetary Penalty in lieu of Hearing. This regulation provides a framework in which the Liquor Board will implement the Maryland Alcoholic Beverages and Cannabis Article, Section 12-2105, which permits the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City to offer as a compromise a monetary penalty for certain violations in lieu of appearing before them at a hearing. There are copies of the version under consideration by the board in the back of the room for anybody who wishes to look at it. Section 12-210 of the Maryland Alcoholic Beverages and Cannabis Article requires that prior to adopting any regulations, the following conditions must be met. The board must provide a period of at least 30 days for public comment, and the city solicitor must review the regulation to ensure that the regulation complies with the authority granted to the board by the state. Mr. Chairman, we have met these requirements. The draft regulations were posted online and emailed to our distribution list on July 25th, 2024. Public comment was solicited for more than 30 days. During the public comment period, staff met with various stakeholders, including our state delegation members and community leaders, to gather additional feedback, which we incorporated into the final version that you see before you. And finally, the city solicitor's office did review the draft regulations to ensure they complied with your authority granted by the state. Mr. Chair, at this time, the board has the authority to vote on Rule 2.16, monetary penalty in lieu of hearing.
Thank you. At this time, we will ask anyone who wishes to provide public comment on Rule 2-16, monetary penalty in lieu of hearing, to come forward. Seeing no other testimony. Oh, do you want to go forward? The lawyers? Seeing no other testimony, we will proceed to adoption. We will hold a roll call vote. Deputy Executive Secretary, if you would proceed, please.
Yes, sir. Chairman Templeton, how do you vote?
Based on the opportunity for public comment, the edits completed based on the feedback and the consultation of the Baltimore City Law Department, I vote to approve Rule 2.16, monetary penalty in lieu of hearing.
Commissioner Reisinger, how do you vote?
Yes, based on the opportunity for public comment, the edits complete based on the feedback and the consultation of the Baltimore City Law Department, I also vote to approve Rule 2.16, monetary penalty in lieu of hearing.
Commissioner Jones, how do you vote?
Based upon the opportunity for public comments, the edits completed based on feedback and consultation of Baltimore City Law Department, I vote to approve Rule 2.16, monetary penalty in lieu of hearings.
With a unanimous vote, Rule 2.16, monetary penalty in lieu of hearing, is adopted. The adopted version of this rule will be published today and will go into effect on September 20th, 2024, and we will start with the docket. Case 1, Kivia Beard Moore and Richard L. Nelson, Richie's Entertainment LLC, trading as Richie's Lounge, 1600 West Baltimore Street, Class BD7 Beer, Wine, and Liquor License, violation of Rule 3.092, restroom facilities and health regulations on April 26th, violation of Rule 3.031, records on May 17th, 2024. Please come forward.
Is anybody going to testify today? Go ahead and raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Can you state and spell your name, or just state name? Richard Nelson.
Can you turn the mic on? Turn the mic on.
Is the mic on? Go ahead and say your name again on the record.
Richard Nelson.
All right.
Richard Nelson.
Mr. Nelson, is this going to be a admission, or are you fighting the allegation?
Well, part of it would be admission, and the other one would be fighting allegation.
Okay. All right. So go ahead. Proceed.
Good morning. On April 26th of 2024, we went out to the location with the Social Club Task Force. We entered the location at 9:45, and we were met with a very strong odor of smoke, and we saw people smoking hookah and smoking cigarettes. Then we checked their business records, and they weren't able to provide a trader's license or invoices for alcohol purchases. I spoke to Mr. Richard Nelson and explained to him that he would be getting a violation. And also on May 17th, we went back to follow up. At that time, he was able to provide a trader's license. However, he wasn't able to provide any invoices at that time.
When you say invoices, do you mean the alcohol receipts?
Yes.
From his purchases? Okay.
He did provide invoices. However, they are either outdated or they were for bar equipment. And I did make phone calls to a few distributors who verified that he hasn't purchased from them.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry to interrupt, but if we can get the agent to state your name.
Inspector Jordan.
You said he has?
He has provided up, as of now, a trader's license, but no invoice.
But you said you called the distributor?
I did call the
And they
distributor.
said he has been?
He has not
He has not been?
purchased.
Okay.
Were you made aware of which distributors he may have used in the past, or you just randomly called?
I called Breakthrough or NDC, Bond, Southern. There is history of purchasing there, but it's under the previous business name.
Okay.
Recently, I'm not sure if he's purchased, in the last month or so.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Come forward, please.
I'm not the best, and I'm still fairly new at this business, this whole liquor license thing. I'm a contractor by trade.
Okay.
That's my day job. And even I try my best to keep up. I have staff that normally handles this, so I'm not the hands-on guy when it comes to the paperwork. Starting as you previously stated, we were operating under the previous owner's license when we take over the business, which was Good Times. So the purchase were made through Good Times. Still fighting with Breakthrough. They started on our purchase, but then I don't know why, when we provide the new renewal of the license, it was somewhere stuck in the system. I also have the receipts now where recent ones to Republic of purchase. The bar business is not the best, especially in the summer. We're not making money. I got invoices, I got staff. My invoices most times is $200 or $300 a night. We're not really selling anything. But from out of business, I facilitate keeping staff instead of laying off staff, in hopes that when the weather changes, the business takes another direction. So I don't lay off anybody. I got security, I got a cleaning personnel, I got 3 bartenders. All my invoices, even my revenue shows, last night maybe 300, Monday 300. You can't pay 5 people off of that. So it's not really a whole lot to sell. And the hookah part of it, we don't sell hookah, they give vapes. Everything that is electronic, So in the beginning, when we first opened, we had those. I got pictures of them. That was the real hookah. I was informed that we are not allowed to sell those. So we do vapes. They're all electronics.
Okay.
So there is nothing that is flammable. These are rechargeable. The core's in them. And that's what we serve. You may come in sometimes and you may have, we're dealing with a neighborhood where you're trying to change or transition or get people to understand that the rules are the rules and they're bad habits. I've had security. I have a security every night. All those things comes from my pocket. The bar don't facilitate that. But in order to control and create a safe environment and to have them abide by the rules, I have the security go in and check, and you see somebody light something up, a cigarette or something, you ask them to put it out or step outside.
So you're not disputing the cigarette?
If we know, I'm not, because oftentimes we catch people doing that, we ask them to go outside.
Go outside.
They go hide in the bathroom.
Now, have you talked to your employees about keeping records, since you're not the person that's really there?
Yes, the turnover rate is ridiculous when it comes to bartender. I haven't been open 3 years yet I've gone through 40 to 50 bartenders.
What have you changed with your process to make sure that even with the turnover, you're going to have the records that's necessary?
My assistant, who were normally supposed to be in charge, she was removed. So I've put in somebody else in place, and then me, myself, would make a more conscious effort to keep up on or having them provide those documents to me on a weekly basis.
That sounds better, to go there weekly yourself to make sure it's done.
Yes.
Since you have such a high turnover rate. What do you have to say about the hookahs?
Regarding the smoke, it was very strong, and it was not just from one person smoking in the bathroom. And there was people openly smoking, where it was very visible to everybody that they were smoking in there. The alcohol, the only purchase I was able to find was for Good Times in 2021, and they had a full bar. They were fully stocked with alcohol.
Okay. So where are you purchasing this alcohol from then?
Listen, the ones that I have here is from Republic. These are one of the most recent ones that I'm keeping up with.
Is that an exhibit you want to admit, or is
Yes,
that just?
please.
Okay. All right.
Could you actually give me the date of that receipt?
Is that a wholesale or retail?
This is with the wholesale provider?
Yes,
And the date of the purchase on these, I'm trying to find it for the record.
it should be somewhere on top, on the right, I believe.
The top, okay, invoice date 8/30/2024 on this one, and this other one was 5/31/2024. So this is just,
After the fact.
yeah, so something was happening prior to this, and alcohol was getting in there, and I'll let you guys look at those. All right, I think I've heard enough. Any questions from the commissioners?
That's a distributor.
No. No, I'm good.
You're good on that? All right. Ms. Russell. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I think that's what we all, thank you.
Okay. Based on the violation report, the evidence that was given today, testimony given by all parties, I do see that there has been a violation of both rules, violation 3.092, restroom facilities and health regulations, and complying with all of the state and city health department laws when it comes to the smoking cigarettes. I understand your argument on the hookah, but they were smoking cigarettes inside of your facility, so that's a violation. I do see you have no history of violations. I see that you are a conscientious owner and license holder, and you're trying to do the right thing, and are going to make better steps, right?
Yes,
to make sure this doesn't happen again. So for that one, I'd only fine you $100 fine on that one, okay? And the next one would be the violation of Rule 3.031 records. You've admitted pretty much that your staff was supposed to keep the records, and they weren't keeping the records as they're supposed to. So I would do another $100 fine. But this is kind of a warning to to make sure that you get the business stuff in order. We understand the struggles that a lot of our license holders have, but the total fine on this would be $200 fine, since you have no other violations in the past.
Thank you.
Yes, based on the testimony provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings of violation of Rule 3.092 with a fine of $100 and violation of Rule 3.031 records with a fine of $100.
Based on the testimony given, I find for a violation of Rule 3.092 on April the 26th, 2024, reference patron smoking, cigarettes, and hookah inside the establishment. For that finding, I guess $100 fine, as everybody else has done.
Thank you.
Also, I find for a violation of Rule 3.031 on May the 17th, 2024, failure to produce records for alcoholic beverages. I also find for a $100 fine for that also.
And you understand, I want you to understand you're getting a low fine because it's your first violation.
First time.
Yeah, and we want you to be successful, okay?
Mr. Chair, I just want to add that, to remember that the chair gave you a warning this time, so.
It's dealing with a community that's a lot to keep up with, and I just don't run a bar. I run something that I try to make changes to.
Okay.
So I have who never had a job find a job. Resumes, I use my personal assistants to do that. So it kind of making them think that it's something that you could take care of.
I understand completely, but thank you. Hopefully we won't see you again here. Yeah, good luck with everything, okay?
Thank you.
Ms. Russell?
30 days to pay? 30 days to pay?
30 days to pay, yes.
That is the thing.
That considers for the record, for Exhibit 1, violation report, Inspector Tuttle. Exhibits 2 through 5, photos. Exhibit number 3, 2 alcohol wholesale receipts. Thank you.
Thank you. Next case.
Max Dalton and Justin Haney, Ultra Lounge LLC, pardon me, trading as Mirage, 401 West Baltimore Street, Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Violation of Rule 3.092 restroom facilities and health regulations on May 27th. Violation of Rule 3.092 restroom facilities and health regulations same day. And violation of Rule 3.081B sanitation and safety also on May 27th, 2024. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kudensky, representing licensee.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning.
Anyone that's going to testify, please raise your right hand.
Raise your right hands.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes.
Mr. Kudinski, is this going to be an
Well,
admission?
we'll just take some testimony and have a motion at the end of the testimony. I think it's maybe of some interest to you. It may or may not.
Okay.
It was up to me when I did it. Okay.
All right, go ahead and proceed.
Inspector Brown, Baltimore City Liquor Board. On midnight on 5/27/24, I went to the above location, which was Mirage, to do a routine inspection. Upon entering the establishment, it was a lot of hookah smoking. So I approached the bar and the bartender, and I introduced myself and let her know who I was, and that can she go get a manager for me. So while I was waiting, I observed the three compartment sink not filled up. So I asked her, I said, you need to fill these sinks up, which she didn't. So the manager came, and when he came, he took me to the kitchen area. So I asked them in the kitchen area, I said, are you operating your kitchen area? He said, yes. I said, okay, you need to clean up in here. And then after that, I advised him, there's no smoking in the establishment and that I'm writing a violation. I conducted my inspection and I left without incident.
Okay.
Did you see anybody smoke?
Yes,
How many people?
several,
And you had to take a picture of them smoking?
I did.
Show me a copy.
I produced it when I turned it into the office.
And here's the problem. I get pictures like this.
Okay. Would you like to see the color photos?
That'd be nice. Could you get this? And in the hookah, do you see people actually smoking hookah?
Yes,
And when you left, were they still smoking? Hope?
Yes.
And when you said about the 3-compartment sink, were they using plastic or were they using glass?
The 3-compartment sink needs to be
No, I'm
filled.
just saying when they were doing drinks.
I'm not
were they-
sure.
So if they were using plastic, they would need a 3-compartment sink that said, would you know that or you don't know?
Your sink's supposed to be filled
For what reason?
to clean
Glasses.
the glasses in
If you're using plastic,
the
you wouldn't-
Tupperware.
You wouldn't have to do that. And there were no health department violations, right? Nobody
not
from the health
sure.
department was there.
No.
And so no health department violations were issued. Correct?
I'm not the health department. I work for the.
No, I know, but you're charging them with health department violations and asking you if there were health department violations issued. And you're saying,
These aren't health department violations.
we don't, which ones are they then? I'll just ask.
I mean, these are violation of liquor board rules, which deal with some of the health
I
departments.
got that. If you're charging somebody with a violation other than your rules, you would say you're violating fire department overcapacity and that their capacity is this.
Well, I'll hear your argument at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, I just, I don't have any further questions. I just would first of all like to say that I think that the charges are duplicitous. And that if you, and I'm sure you have the copies of them, and if not, I'll just, excuse me, 1 second. I don't know.
Are your clients going to testify, or are you going to give argument? Okay.
Under 308 and 309, if it's a violation of the health department rules and regulations, it's one rules and regulation. You see, you have sanitation and safety refers to the health department, and you have rule 309, which refers to the health. They're duplicitous, the same, and they're cumulative under the same. If you make a finding there was a violation in the case, I would proffer that they use plastic there, which doesn't require them to have a 3-compartment sink filled. It's only used for rinsing and using glasses. But that's the argument that I'm having here on that, with regard to the charges. It's only one health department violation if you find it. It's not one and then another. I don't know who did 308 and 309, but they probably should have been both together the way they are, because if you violate it, you're charging with violating Department of Health, it's just one violation.
I hear your argument on that.
Okay.
Did your clients have anything else other than plastic that they were utilizing on that date? Because
Other than they would testify that they're using plastic, and I could proffer to put somebody on to testify, but they were using plastic and they weren't using the kitchen. They use the kitchen only on specified days for private parties.
Okay. Any questions for the commissioners?
No, just for verification, I mean, even though they're using plastic cups, shouldn't those sinks, the 3 sinks, be filled?
Yes.
I mean, ain't that part of the
I
license?
don't think so.
Yes.
If we can ask for council to get something from the health department, so if you're using plastic, outside, you have events outside, they use plastic, they don't have 3-compartment sinks.
I'm
That's
just
what
saying, I'm going to the weeds, when I owned the bar for 14 years, we had to have those 3 sinks.
But I think if you use plastic, no, I see another party standing up and wants to say something. John, you want to say something?
I'm done.
No, he's not
No, I know,
up
but I'm
here.
saying is, if I can get you a ruling from the health department, because when you have outside events, they don't have 3-compartment sinks, they use plastic. As long as you, my understanding is use plastic.
But is it a bar, I'm sorry, but is there seats there?
Yeah, but if you're
Chairs that
only using
utilize-
plastic, you use it so the 3-compartment sink is there for you to use when you rinsing glasses to work. One is the soap, one is the rinse, and one is the chlorine. They're dished that way.
Counsel, we know the reason for them.
Yeah. I don't know that you need it if you're not using glasses.
Yeah, but that's operative word. I think you don't know if you need it.
Yeah.
And this is not an outside event. Any questions?
No, it wouldn't have to be
No,
outside.
I'm clear. It's making me my mind clear.
Okay.
How do you like my argument about it's only one violation?
You're about to hear it now.
And before you make a finding, I got some mitigation I could give you.
Okay.
You can make the finding first.
Okay, based on the violation report, testimony given today, the spirited argument given by counsel today also. I do understand your argument, but I do find a violation of Rule 3.09 to restroom facilities and health regulations. That one deals with the smoking cigarettes and hookah inside the establishment. I do believe that you can be fined and found in violation of the same rule if it's under a different, if it's for a different reason. So I do find another violation of Rule 3.09 to restroom facilities and health regulations, but this one deals with failing to properly utilize a 3-compartment sink, which is under the same rule, but it's for a different reason under that rule. And obviously you can appeal that. And the next one is violation of Rule 3.081B, sanitation and safety, failing to keep the floor and food preparation area clean and in good repair. The testimony was given clearly on the record that the kitchen floor in that area was dirty, and there was no testimony to refute that or pictures to refute that. Also, I see as a history, there is a history of.
I haven't had anything since 2016. It was a general welfare on it, and before that was in 14. I'm going to get by you again.
Did you want to do your mitigation before I say it?
Yeah, when I get medication, I like to use it, you know.
Yeah, you could use it. And I agree with you. It's been a little while since there were any violations.
You know, the only thing I'm saying, now let's finish this, but that's for food for thought.
You need to be at the mic.
If you were charged with robbery and you're charged with assault and theft, once you get robbery, you don't go to the other two. They're included in there. Just food for thought.
Lesser included, or if you're an assault and there are multiple people there, you can charge it with second-degree assault
But if
2 or
it's
3 or
all
4
out of the
times in
same-
the same.
It's all
also.
the same incident, which was here. All right,
And this
so
was.
let me, leave you with the,
Yes.
done in the meantime.
Oh, okay.
See that, we got it real nice.
Nice and pretty, shiny.
Yeah, and then here's the kitchen cleaned up, and
Smells like Lysol.
yeah, nice pictures.
Question, Mr. Chair, is there anything in these sinks?
Not now, but it's ready to film when they're in business. You know, when you leave at the end of the night, I know I was.
Empty, yeah, I do. I just didn't know what the story was, that's why I was asking.
Okay. All right, I'm ready to make my ruling on the violations. On the first one, like I said, I find a violation of Rule 3.092, restroom facilities and health regulations. And on this one, I do a fine of $250. On the second one, Rule 3.092, $250 also. In the Rule 3.081B, I do a fine of $250 on that one also. 30 days to pay on all of those. I understand everything was cleaned up, that's why I'm keeping it low despite the history, but the history seems like it's been a while back. I don't think that we'll see you guys here again. You guys seem like you have everything in order now.
Okay, based on materials and testimony provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings of violation of Rule 3.092, restroom facilities and health regulations with a fine of $250. Also, violation of Rule 3.092, restroom facilities and health regulations with a fine of $250. And a violation of Rule 3.081B, sanitation and safety, and a fine of $250. I just want to throw it out there that it was since 2016, just questioning why, 8 years later, we went back into violations. That's my concern. Thank you.
Based on the testimony given today by the inspector, proffer given by the attorney, I rule for a violation of Rule 3.092 on May 27, 2024, reference patron smoking cigarettes and hookah inside the establishment. I levy a fine of $250. I also rule for a violation of Rule 3.092 on May the 27th, 2024, reference failing to properly utilize a 3-compartment sink. A fine for that is $250. In addition, I rule for a violation of Rule 3.1081B on May the 27th, 2024. Reference failure to keep floor and food preparation area clean and in good repair. And also allow 30 days to pay this fine.
And so I guess the issue that I have the most is the smoking inside. And that's the staffing not paying attention, I guess, to what's going on.
It's
We just
a
wanna make sure
fairly
that
big
doesn't
place,
happen.
and people come in and, I don't sit here and, we live in what we call I don't care society. Nobody cares. You can tell them whatever they want, and the responsibility falls on the licensee, and now they're in a situation where they know that if that happens, they get
Kick 'em
fined
out.
or suspended, right.
Yeah, pick 'em up.
And,
Okay.
We care.
I care
And because
too.
we care, they need to, somebody needs to adjust, because when you come before us, we care.
I care too. That's why I'm talking with you. I mean, look, I was in the business. I owned a nightclub, a bar, a restaurant. I mean, I know the crazy things again.
I'm glad that you care, we care, but they
We
have to
care.
care.
Yeah, and they made some changes, and your mitigation did help with my decision. Thank
Okay.
you.
And I try.
Ms. Russell?
Item exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Inspector Brown. 2, photos 2 through 10. 3, Rule 3.08 and 3.09. 4, photos.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Ronnie Player, New Club Thunderbird, Inc., trading as Club Thunderbird, 2201 East Chase Street, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license, violation of Rule 4.052, prohibited hours. Please come forward.
Good morning, Mr. Acting Chairman and members of the board. Harry Previs on behalf of Ronnie Player and New Club Thunderbird LLC. I am respectfully requesting a postponement. Mr. Player was unavailable to attend today, and he needs a little bit of time to gather some of the evidence from that night.
Okay. You've been through this before. Harry, or Mr. Priebus, is your client gonna show Ronnie Player next time? Because I believe he hasn't shown, on my records, any time that we've been here. Because if we're gonna get the postponement because of that reason, I just want to make the record clear that we're postponing it, or I'm at least contemplating a postponement because the owner is gonna appear next time.
He will be here next time.
And you realize that there are other violations?
Yes, we know there are prior violations, and it's
Serious?
pretty serious, yes.
Yeah.
So he will be here next time,
Okay.
at the next hearing date, if the postponement's granted, of course.
Okay.
Can we go on record saying that if he doesn't show up the next time, you're gonna move forward with the hearing?
Oh, we're gonna move forward next time if I choose to postpone it today. Yeah, we're gonna move forward. And I understand your position, meaning counsel for them. And so I will grant the postponement, but please let him know, no matter
Of course,
what.
will do.
Yes, based on testimony, I disagree with the chair's finding on the postponement.
Yeah. You see, we already have some dissension right here. So it's very important for him to come and to have any evidence that he wants to bring forth, because he's gonna stay open for however much time it's gonna take us to get him back on the docket, and he has some serious violations that are sitting out there and other violations. So we're being very, 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 very gracious by giving him that
Of
time.
course, thank you very much.
Okay? All right. We'll give you a new date, I guess, later.
I'd rather that be postponed also.
Okay, so it's granted.
Thank you.
All right.
Jahan Dumas Bagwell and Praneet Sani Manjeet Inc., 3, trading as the liquor store, Socialize, 6130 Bel Air Road, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. Violation of Rule 4.20, little c, 2 little I, prohibited activities by license type on April 7th, 2024. I just want to note, Mr. Chairman, that this was a postponed case from previous hearings. The citation for the rule is not the same citation as the rules that are currently in effect. It is from the previous version of the rules. Just in case you look, I just want to make sure that it was on the record. That's why there may be a discrepancy. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for saying that. Go ahead.
Good
Everybody,
morning.
Good morning.
All right, we're moving too fast.
No, I like it.
Give me a couple minutes. Thank you. We'll go ahead and say not responsible at this time. So,
Not responsible?
right, we're gonna
Okay.
deny responsibility for the violation. Proceed.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Raise your right hand, everyone.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. And Mr. Chair, if I could have the representative state your name. The attorney.
Oh, thank you. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the licensees. Thanks.
And can everybody, I guess, you need everybody state their name for the record to testify? I guess when they testify.
Yes.
Go ahead and proceed.
Praneeth Sani.
Can you, okay, we've got that spelled.
Thank you.
You got it? All right. Inspector, you gonna proceed?
Kenyatta, Washington.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Start with me?
Mr. Washington.
I'm gonna read from my note on April 7th, approximately 9:45 p.m.
Can you just slide over a little bit to get in front of the microphone?
On April 7th, at approximately 9:45 p.m., I, Inspector Washington, entered the establishment to perform a routine inspection. Upon entering the establishment, I observed the red rope in front of the tavern. I asked the employee, who gave the name of Barash, he's unable to produce identification why the area was roped off. The employee indicated that the tavern was open from 12 p.m. to 8 and instructed me to look at their Instagram page. Staff was informed that as long as the establishment is open, the tavern has to be open as well, and that was explained to them when they were found guilty at the liquor hearing on April the 4th. A violation was then entered. The violation, at this time, the rope was removed when the inspector left.
Okay.
Thank you. Briefly, Lieutenant?
Yes.
So, you have inspected this store in the past, right? All right. Do you remember if you encountered patrons when you did a routine on October 13th?
What time is that?
What time does it
Was
say?
it patrons in the,
Yeah, in the bar area.
I don't recall.
You don't recall. All right. And then it appears that Inspector Brown on October 25th and Inspector Nazir on April 23rd and
What year?
Inspector Tudhope, all of this year,
Okay.
May 14th, they also inspected the bar, right? If you know.
I can't
Okay.
for them if you have a,
All right, no, I mean, I'm looking at reports, but
Oh.
yeah, but you're not familiar with the other
yeah.
routines?
Only can
or-
speak on mine.
Exactly, okay. And the owner was not there at the time?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, at this point, I think I'd just like to make a proffer, some argument. Obviously, you have a cashier telling an inspector that the bar is closed, so you have a big hill to climb in a case where it's a preponderance of the evidence. That said, a lot of this is much mitigation. The licensee here has been in business for years. They understand that the bar has to be open when the packaged goods is open. You're either completely closed or you're completely open. To wit, they always have 2 employees on staff, one to serve as a bartender, one to serve as the cashier for the packaged goods side. In this case, we're not sure whether the second employee went to get something to eat or something like that. But these folks have been charged with literally, like in the same month, twice, not operating properly as a BD7 in the month of April. Because this employee, who's now fired, both times said, no, bar's closed, just out of laziness. I want to make it clear that this is a real bar. They even have a Super Bowl party tonight. Mr. Ockhammer, as he always does, he says, hey, if you guys want to convert to an A7, you don't have to play this game. They actually love this bar, and they make thousands a month in revenue
Thank you.
off of the bar side.
The game day party, okay.
Right, and then some photos of a recent Saturday night filled with customers. They gave me some sales receipts, and they averaged several $100s a day on the bar side. They had May 5th, they had a great night of almost $5,000, $1,000 alone in sales tax to the state for on-premise consumption. Furthermore, as I mentioned with the inspector, they've been inspected multiple times, a lot in the last 8 months. They got nicked twice now because this employee was being lazy. Miss Sani can't always be there. She is there 60 hours a week. She can't always be there, and these things seem to occur in the early evening when she has left. So that employee is no more. The remaining employees understand that it's that simple. But if the bar is not open, the place isn't open. You can't have it both ways, no matter what, even if there's a staffing shortage. So even though this appears to be, and is indeed, a second charge in a very short time, I want to make it clear that these licensees understand the law. I mean, when anybody comes before you, you want to hear remorse, but just as importantly, you want to understand what are your steps to being compliant in the future. And they certainly want to be compliant in the future and will be. Now, I want to mention something as to the red rope. All right, you know, back in the day when I was on that side of the board, we'd get people who wouldn't even get buzzed into a bar. You know, you'd knock, you know, you'd look at you, they wouldn't even let you in. This is an open door bar. Sometimes during their traditionally non-busy times, they will put this red velvet rope in front of the door. And while I could see that it could be seen as some kind of barrier to entrance, they've used it sort of as a security measure, just to make sure that if the bartender goes to the bathroom or something, that somebody might hesitate to just run through. They had a situation where a person came off the street. There was some kind of promotional bottle of champagne that wasn't even champagne. There was water in it. And somebody came in and swiped it while they literally were in the bathroom. So they thought it would be a good idea for their employees' safety to at least have somebody possibly hesitate and say, hey, are you open, before they come in. They understand that that can also send a different message. So going forward, the inspectors should have no problem, just like the inspectors in May of this year, in July of this year, had no problem getting access to the bar. So we thank you, and I would ask for clemency with the fine as a result of their attempts to be compliant. And they're happy to be rid of somebody who simply won't comply with the rules and regulations of the Baltimore City Liquor Board. Thank you.
So, Mr. Fogelman, so you're saying it's really an admission, but you're saying it's the employee's fault, and obviously the client is trying to do everything she can to stay compliant, and she has an establishment that is making money for the state, and then servicing the community also, and she's taken the appropriate steps. But
that's exactly right. The buck stops with the licensee. I'm the first to admit that. And you know, your employee sells to a minor, it's on you. At some point, we put a lot of trust in these employees, and it's a tough job to find great employees who truly are invested in the business as you are. But this has been a great learning moment for them, and I don't see any further issues with respect to a 4.20 charge or any other.
okay, any questions?
No, I'm good question.
None. Okay. Based on the violation report, the evidence that was submitted today, testimony given, confirmation by counsel, and admission really made by counsel. I guess there was a violation of Rule 4.20 CII. I do see that this is a good establishment that's been attempting to do the right thing. I think they've learned from, although there were 2 violations in a short period of time, which we hate to see that. You know, we really hate to see, especially in the same year. But the same violation did occur in April, and it was a 4.20 CII. The fines, there were, I think, 4 violations, a $400 total fine. So it was about $100 for that fine last time if you want to split it up in that way. So I would double that, a $200 fine for this violation, and give 30 days of pay. I don't think I'm going to see you again. I think that you're going to stay on top of your employees and do the right thing. And hopefully it won't be for something like this. The red velvet rope argument would have been good had the person not stated that they are open from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., you know, because I understand that a red velvet rope doesn't mean that it's closed. It could not mean that. It could mean it, but it could not. But in this case, I think it was an admission that was made on the scene. So 30 days pay.
Thank you.
Would say, Mr. Chair, $200?
$200.
200?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Based on testimony we provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings, a violation of Rule 4.20, C, double I, and a fine of $200.
Based on the testimony given, I find for a violation of Rule 4.20C, double I, on April the 7th, 2024, reference failing to open tavern area for on-site consumption when packaged good area is open and operating. I find $200 for that. You have you have 30 days to pay that fine.
Thank you so much. Good luck with everything.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Great
Mr.
argument.
Chair. Thank you,
Sir,
Commissioner.
good presentation this morning.
Thank you very much.
It was
Always
really
a
good.
pleasure, Mr. Iron Man.
Ms. Russell?
Exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Inspector Washington. Board Exhibit 2, flyers. Board Exhibit 3, inspection reports.
Deputy Executive Secretary?
Yes, sir. There being no further business before this board, the board is in recess until Thursday, September 19th, 2024, at 10:30 a.m. We are adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.